creating rap music because I never dug disco. I don't think there's any other lyrics to that song. Creating rap music because I never dug disco. Creating rap music because I never dug disco. Probably one of the more annoying soundscapes that have ever been created here on Runehammer. Yeah. I blame pine trees. This whole damn situation is because of the trees. It's the trees. I'm a conspiracy treeist. Creating rap music because I never dug disco. Greetings, programs. Your buddy Ingrid Bernal here. Hankering for a nail. Here in the grand coliseum that is Runehammer, the vast halls delved by dwarves centuries ago to house all this splendor you see. Hi, everybody. Hello, it's Wednesday. In my world, it's the afternoon. In your world, who knows what's going on? It's been a while since I've been here on the old internet. The world has continued to be totally crazy. So if you're out there and you're needing a little reprieve from all the seriousness and the hardship and the terrible things that are going on in the world, well, you've come to the right place, because here on Runehammer, what we talk about, playing that old D&D just a little bit more better than you used to play, getting that third arm out the back of the t-shirt, bring it around, and that's how you roll 2d10 to get your percentile. If you can't roll your percentile without a 30-second delay, you are still a beginner, my friend. It never fails. Have you heard that? Like, roll me some percentile die, and there'll just be this long moment of being like, what? 30-second delay, 5 demerits, and yes, that's Dr. Octagon. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. Welcome back to Runehammer. I'm just here to be alive, basically, and to holla. There's so many questions coming my way, and a lot of really, really nice messages. So first of all, if you have been one of these wonderful people who sends me these cool, exciting, heartfelt, thoughtful emails and messages on ye old internet, you know who you are. I don't need to call you out, but I thank you from the bottom of my little dwarven heart. It's not that little, and there's also 3 of them. Is that Doctor Who has multiple hearts? Or am I thinking of giraffes? Oh, God. The giraffes are time lords. Anyway, that is a different YouTube stream. Yeah, so I've just been in like a Degobah kind of a mindset. Like Yoda goes and he just kicks it on Degobah every once in a while. You don't even hear from the dude. It doesn't mean he's not doing anything. He's making rocks float. He's making a box float. And he's making apparently terrible tasting stew. Not doing a lot of interior design, though. He's got a really minimal aesthetic inside his little mud hut. But, my home it is. Anyway, wow. Cut right to the Yoda stuff. So I've been in like a Degobah state of mind, meaning I've just been building. I've been working on Crown and Skull, my new book that's coming here this year. I've been working on the second Easy D6 book, the Book of Quests, which is like the best thing ever. Like working with Scotty is so bitchin'. It's also crazy because me and Scotty are totally like this weird Rubik's Cube of madness, where there are 3 colors on 3 of the faces and then just like smiley faces on the other 3. So it's just like madness and chaos. But he has a certain strength and I have a set of strengths. And together we form a 2-vehicle Voltron, which is just like one boot. But that one Voltron boot is badass. So the Easy D6 Book of Quests is, oh my God, we're just more than halfway now, and really didn't start hitting it strong until late November. So we're actually trucking right along. And so I would keep an eye out for that pretty soon. I am so excited for that release. And then also working on little things here and there, some odd stuff that came up in the end of the year last year. Honestly, like commissions and contracts and projects that would have made my head explode if you told me these were going to happen, 7, 8, 9 years ago, I would have been like, what? No, that's never going to happen. So like the dream of just doing this thing, I guess it's kind of like a job, but it's too much. It's too integrated into my life to be a job. And it's way too serious and constant to just be a hobby or like something for fun. So it's something in between. But it's not hobby jobby. It's well, it's like Yoda with his stew. He's making that stew, making those rocks float. So, anyways, I just wanted to come on. I'm still in 3 game groups. The Hard Suit guys are about to wrap up their campaign. The events of that campaign kind of accelerated a little bit, and so if you've been following those Hard Suit recaps, basically they've kind of fast forwarded their way into this direct conflict with the forces of Throne and the Everlasting. Meanwhile, in my sort of the Avarice of Blood in that game, where I'm not the GM, we are looking for this special sort of type of dwarven made steel or metal. We really haven't seen it yet, but apparently it's going to be instrumental in our war against the vampires. So we're on this journey into the mountains right now to go try to make friends with these grumpy dwarves who make this special metal. And then I have so I guess is it 4? Is it 4? So I also have D&D Dynamite, which is my all-female group. They are struggling in this sort of elven forest to find out what is poisoning the trees. And they went up against some frogs at a seaside fort, like frogmen. In an amazing session, waged this whole rescue operation without spilling a single drop of enemy blood, which I don't even think that was really their intention. That's just how it played out. And then, of course, there's the Dirty Jobs crew, who are about to enter the depths of Gungathal, which is like the mega dungeon by Greg Gillespie, which, with Greg's blessing, exists in my Crown and Skull world. And they're about to enter that looking for this being or entity called Caligos, which is some kind of grandfather of all vampirism, a sort of mysterious entity that they're going to seek out and either try to destroy or unmake in some way. So those are like the storylines that I'm currently in my groups. But I kind of wanted to just jump on ye old internet. Sorry if I haven't noticed everybody's comments just yet. I just wanted to get this intro done. I mean, come on. And then just open it up for Q&A. You want to talk about movies? I'm like a period piece guy. I like Conan. I like Beastmaster. I like Cold Mountain. I like The Pale Blue Eye. I like Last of the Mohicans. You know what I'm saying? I like The Revenant. That's where I'm at. I like Master and Commander, y'all. What's up with that? You know what I mean? I like Love, Death, and Robots. I wouldn't call that a period piece. For some reason, I was just tripping out a couple days ago. I was like, oh my God, all my favorite movies are like period movies, like where people have different clothes than now. If you haven't seen The Pale Blue Eye, totally check that out. That is my shit. That's like a view into my mind, or at least what I would like my mind to look like. That whole movie, like, is inside my dreams. That was just twisted to see someone else look inside my psyche like that. That was crazy. Absolutely love that movie. It jumped right to my top 5. Really, it's been a golden age for movies this past year. If someone tells you otherwise, it's because they're not looking hard enough. Really a golden age for a lot of things lately. It's just like our choices are just exponentially growing all the time. It does put a lot of effort. It takes a lot of effort to find good bands, though. So yeah, if you're not listening to, what is it, Linachi? Yo, you need to get on Spotify and hook up Linachi right now. It's like traditional Korean singing, but with like a funk band in the back. It's dope. Okay, that's the end of my intro. I'm getting a little off course there. So just put question in all caps over here in the comments. I missed the Crown and Skull ship. Yo, Hunter, there's a lot of it being talked about on Discord, on the Runehammer Discord, and some hints here and there on my Patreon and stuff like that. But I haven't been super public about Crown and Skull yet because it's not done. And so if you say too many things about something you're working on, it has a calcifying effect, meaning it can kind of sort of, like cook the ceramics before you're done. If you announce that things are a certain way, it kind of makes it stop changing and evolving. So I got to wait as long as I can before I really start announcing things while I finish the sort of the bulk of the work. Regardless to say, so excited. Alistair, I do watch anime. A little less these days. That some of the aesthetics have changed. Like last night we were watching Cowboy Bebop, kind of just as background cartoons. I know that's just as old as hell, but I kind of come from the older school of anime. I like all of the Ghibli stuff, of course, like everybody else does. But I like Ninja Scroll, and oh hell, I don't know. I'm not like knowledgeable in anime like a lot of people are nowadays. I did watch like all of JoJo in a weird weekend once. Um, yeah, I mean, I would call myself a casual anime enthusiast, but I don't like know it like a lot of people do. There's a lot of anime crazies out there, and I'm not one of those, so I can't really like talk too much smack knowing about anime. I kind of just don't know a lot about it. Yeah, Vampire Hunter D is from that same era. That was like a zillion years ago. That was a cool one. Um, I love Akira and Blame and a lot of. Does Blame count as anime? Because I freaking loved Blame. I thought it was dope. Knights of Cicada was super dope. Yeah, I don't know. Does that count as anime? Fuck, I'm so bad at this stuff. What about Dwero Deep? Are you most excited to bring to your table? Well, you guys. So if you're not familiar with this monstrosity by Greg Gillespie, it's called Dwero Deep. I just call it Gungathal. I think Dwero Deep is the slightly larger area that includes Gungathal, but it's basically a mega dungeon. I think it's probably the best put together mega dungeon I've ever seen. It's so intricate and deep. It takes a leap of intellectual investment to even really get there with it. For fans of the old school, and I mean that term literally, fans of modules from the early '80s, some of the conventions that Greg uses are going to be very familiar. To me, they're a little bit like page flippy. I'm kind of going back and forth, so I need to make some of my own aids to really navigate such a massive work. But why am I excited? To do this entire new book that I'm doing is a massive undertaking involving multiple writers and multiple artists and all this kind of stuff. But then to also have a dungeon of this scale that I would just stick in there on my own is quite intimidating. And me and Greg talk quite often. I'm doing some commission work for him, and I have actually some work in this book, some illustrations in this book. And I wanted to put a massive dwarven super dungeon in my world. And I just thought, why reinvent the wheel when the wheel is so right there? And I love how we built this. I love the themes. I love the monsters. I love the flow of it. It's so usable and it's fun to look things up. The entries are really clear and simple. And so I think I'm excited to just have that as an underpinning location in my world. It's just one pinpoint on this map of Crown and Skull. And like Goodfellow, it is a bit intimidating, yeah. And so I think what you do is, hopefully, I'll be releasing some of these visual aids that I'm doing. Is you can really simplify it to whatever level you're comfortable with. If you want to run it like by the book style, yeah, that's pretty intense. But just understanding what it is, it's also runnable. And Rapana Thuk was a lot like that too. Running Rapana Thuk room by the book, I think my head would explode and my butt would go numb sitting in the chair that long. But if you just sort of get an understanding of it and enjoy the book as a book, not just as a play resource, I think it could just fill your mind with a lot of possibility of how you can cook it down and make it to whatever complexity fits your style, you know? So, what is the best bar food? Well, probably cheesesteaks if they're made properly, or pizza. No, actually, pizza you eat at home. You got it's all the basic stuff because when you're drinking, you're not thinking. So you want like bratwursts, you want chicken tendies, you want garlic fries. You know what I'm saying? Where my tater tots at? That's what I'm talking about. Um, yeah, that's most of it right there. I just covered like 90% of the best bar food. If it's really late, you might have to hit up that cheeseburger, but that could fill you up. Yo, E. Now how did you get that username? That is amazing. Do you like Duragar? Anything, Duragar are almost in every campaign I've ever run. I think they're super cool. And I see them as a diverse culture. So you've got good guy and bad guy Duragar. There are defectors, there are rebels, but there are also nasty generals and old timers who really hate some of the what do you call them? Shallow dwarves is what a Duragar would call a normal dwarf. Especially hates surface dwellers, and I always portray them as very scary. They're very powerful, and I'm a huge fan of Durgar. Everything's cool about it. Hot wings, if they're dry rub hot wings with the sauce on the side, okay, but I can't put them in the top 5. I can't do it. Hey, Raimondo Mancinelli. I love the name. Just ordered EZD6. How's it going being a publisher? Oh my God, it's dope. But you definitely have to have a sense of calm. Sometimes being a publisher is a lot like being a sort of like a director level kind of creative, I guess, executive. I don't really like that word, but there are so many plates spinning that you need a sort of a certain skill of looking away from a spinning plate and trusting that it's going to continue to function. If you're the type of person who sort of has anxiety over every detail of things, it's probably not going to be a very comfortable lifestyle. But I really love being a publisher. I look forward to doing more of it. I think it's super fun. It's obviously not a conventional relationship. I mean, me and Scotty are like the homies, you know what I mean? So it's not like he's a stranger or something, but technically, yes, I am the publisher of EZD6 and he's the primary writer. So that's kind of crazy. The crazy thing is he's got this tiger by the tail because even though he's the primary writer, I rewrite a lot of his work, like to clean it up, because he just hits me with this fire hose. And I got to send that fire hose through like a spaghetti strainer, you know what I mean? Otherwise, everybody's just going to get blasted. Come to Italy for real pizza. Yeah, everybody knows that. I don't think that needs to be, I don't think that's news. The only new tattoo is probably one you've already seen, my spear frog. Um, I've got some bigger life dream goals that I'm working on. So I need to ease up on the tattoos for maybe 1 year, slow down a little bit. This last year got a little crazy. What's up, Diego? Thank you, man. Pew! Got the fresh cut, got the nice tight fade. So that's always a good time to get on YouTube, like right after you get a nice haircut. And then you're just like, oh man, I always look like this. I always look like a Mego figure. Yo, Adramir, what's up? You read any of the 2D20 books? Yes, I've read several of them. And you know, the Conan, some of the other ones there aren't really my jam, but the Conan one, pretty sweet. And when you start rolling their hit system, their damage system, it's actually super fun. So take a look at that damage system. It is a real hoot at the table. Kind of very quick to glide right over it when you're reading, but in practice, really, really great. Tater, what's up, Tater? What voice effects app or program do you use for your? I don't use voice effects really. I just use Adobe Audition to record everything I do. For those who don't know, Crown and Skull comes with its own soundtrack. It's going to be all set up to use on Roll20. Just in MP3, so you can live mix and combine all the tracks and everything. I've been learning the Korg wave state. That's my new instrument that I've been making all the Crown and Skull music on. So just trying to, I know there's a ton of, tabletop music out there, but it's all just part of creating that, like, I guess you'd call it bespoke kind of feel, where things are made custom together and that matters. And that creates a craftsmanship level, I guess, is what you could say. So yeah, the wave state is a big learning curve, but I just use Adobe Audition. I use extremely simple tools and my little Zoom tracker. I just use the simplest stuff. I'm more focused on kind of like the performance aspect. What's my new game about? Well, it's a very big quilt of abouts. It has a lot of themes and topics to it. What makes it special is it's a total divergence from any sort of system that anybody may be expecting. And it's just got a certain tone, but I don't think I have an elevator pitch for you. You're just going to have to wait a little bit. I think the name clearly starts to evoke something about it. It's definitely not like cartoony, but it has some very, I hope, innovative and intriguing twists and turns that we have not seen at the table up to now. So that's a big claim, I know, but a massive amount of work has gone into this and a lot of play. So I hope that shows. Is there a pizza topping you will not eat? No, not at all. I'll do pineapple and anchovies straight up. What's up, man? I'll do double mushrooms with no cheese. I don't care. Give me some pizza. Yeah, that's right. Starships and Steel makes a good point. The Conan license is moving on down the road from Modifius. So if you really like 2D20, pick it up. Where we are. Oh, thanks, Kane. Appreciate that. Oh, by the way, props, Kane. Thanks a lot. Thanks for tuning in as always. And thanks for your hard work. Kane, if you want, you could throw up that website. Kane has a great favor here in the sort of Runehammer area by putting together the ICRPG community content page. So this gives you a ton of free stuff, all the legal garbage that you need, and a lot of the best fan created work we have so far all in one spot. So thank you for putting that together, Kane. Throw that link up in the comments, and hell yeah. What's the elevator pitch? How's the VTT coming along? The Runehammer VTT has lived at icrpgvtt.net for quite some time now. It's been completely taken off my hands, and it's just rocking on. I mean, we did what we came to do, and it works. Let's see. Alistair, what up? Was there ever a big setup you planned for a game that you're really excited about and that just fell flat at the table? That describes just about every session that I play. I always have some big, high-minded, highfalutin shizhigabang, some kind of balio hoo-hoo, some kind of brouhaha, some kind of emotional gravitas of bad guy monologue that never happens that I practice for 2 weeks. That's every damn session, bro, Cephas. I'm terrible with that stuff, but it's always sort of food for thought, and it morphs into things you don't see coming, and surprises are better than anything that you can prepare. Dave, that was you. That was you that drank your beer. There was a chutney sighting. Did you guys see that? Anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, Kane did all that work and it was awesome. How is Chutney? Chutney's amazing. I just walked Chutney so damn far through this insane, chaotic city. And you know, he's an Austin Terrier for crying out loud, and he was actually slowing down in the end, if you can believe that. And hey, yo, here's my man Prawn. What's up? So Prawn is a true original fan of Runehammer, and has kept a sort of a cool low profile over the years. And I don't want to spoil that, but was a big help. I made a shout out to everybody on Patreon to help me out so that we could pay for the legendary landscape artist Reza Avshar, who lives in Iran. I wanted him to do some landscape illustrations, some like sort of plates as they used to be called in old days. And I just needed to pay him up front, and I don't want to use like Kickstarter or something. And thanks to the patrons and Prawn being one of them, we raised all that money in a matter of a few days. And I'm just ready to do the entire contract with Reza, which is crazy. It's good for me because I get the coolest art in the Crown and Skull book. And then it's good for Reza. He's living, I don't know if you guys have been following, but you know, Iran is having its troubles of its own these days. Like there's a lot of tumult in the world these days. And so it's cool to be able to, you know, do a nice beefy contract with an artist in Iran. I mean, that's cool to me. That's how we keep the world held together with strings and duct tape while all these weirdos try to tear us apart. We're all going to stick together, you know? Yo, Eric, my latest tattoo is this spear wielding frog warrior over here. So now I have my katana frog and my spear frog, my naginata frog and my odachi kensei over here. I'm a big frog warrior guy. And you will see some of this surfacing in Crown and Skull. There's a little spoiler there. I've really been getting down on the whole frog empire thing. Like, oh my God, from painting miniatures, finding and painting miniatures, to bringing them into storylines, to putting them in my new work. Like they're just, and I'm not doing them like what you probably think I'm doing them. Mine are a little different. Yo. Red, my man, how the heck do you manage your time with all the projects you have going on all the time? Yeah, right now I got like 5 big ones and like 3 in the hopper. Well, I don't really manage my time. I just follow my nose. that may sound like a flippant answer, and I don't mean to be flippant, but I really do I do what feels the most exciting. And I really, as I mentioned about this mindset of not looking at spinning plates, I just kind of forget about whatever I'm not working on. And I just go with what I'm excited about and I feed off that excitement. And when it starts to wane, I go and have a sandwich and then I come back and I'm excited about something else. And so I put work into that and I just flow through the days that way. I have been very fortunate and very lucky, thanks to people exactly like you guys, that this is all I do. So I don't have kids or anything like that. I don't have a so-called day job. Um, I really just focus on trying to make truly meaningful, crafted contributions to this awesome hobby that we all have such a good time with, and also enjoy the process. The quote unquote hobby isn't just those hours spent at the table with friends. It's everything. It's reading. It's enthusiasm for video games, for movies. It's what you talk about at the bar. Sometimes it's a thing. It's a whole way of being. And so I just let that organically happen, and just, I guess, the sort of artist habits that I have just keep me working on things all the time. I'm always writing. I'm always doodling. I'm always going, what if? And that's just how it works out. I don't really ever think of myself as managing my time. So I'm very fortunate in that way. But it is constant. If you're thinking about doing what I'm doing, be ready. It is a lot of work and it is a constant mindset. Poe Panda, what's up? What's your favorite style of villain to run? The ones where everybody says the same answer to this. They're kind of like Magneto, right? Where they don't see themselves as villains. They see themselves as inevitable or as doing some kind of misguided form of right. And so they exist in a gray area and it makes them more believable rather than just like, I will kill everything that lives. Uh, Battletoads is exactly where I will not be going, but that doesn't mean I'm not a fan of Battletoads. I am a fan, but that's not really how I do it. Anti-grav, appreciate that. Have you seen AD Police Files? No, I have not seen that. But Bubblegum Crisis was visually cool, but I could only watch it with the sound off because the music in that show was insufferable. I mean, it was, yeah, Bubblegum Crisis was like, whoa. If you were to assign yourself stats, which of the six is your highest? Well, I'm definitely a con build with Dex as a dump step. I only got one leg, yo. So I got low stealth rolls. I do not dodge things. I'm all strength and con. All the other stats are 8 or less. Without starting a YouTube channel, how would you recommend promoting a new module? Oh, I have no idea. Just make friends and be enthusiastic and be vocal. And just be honest, be authentic, and be a part of things. It's kind of a terrible answer, but Theophrastus Bombastus. Any tips for people who want to put pen and paper game ideas and PDFs for sale on drive-thru? Any tips? I guess almost the same tips. Be a part of the community, be vocal, be authentic, represent what it is that you're excited about, and also have vigilance and discipline. Learn your shit. Learn basic layout, learn, writing and how to write in a clear and communicative manner and a flavorful and evocative manner. Like, these are not simple skills. They take work and practice and discipline. So get that discipline ready, get those muscles built up, and do a good job. That would be my tip. And put in the time, because it can be very frustrating and time consuming to create something lasting. And some people can bounce off of that, and that's totally okay. There are different levels of seriousness to things. But yeah, that would be my tip. Get ready for some discipline, get ready to put in work, and be vocal, be part of a community, be boisterous about it. You can't really hide out and expect people to know you exist, especially with all the options we have nowadays. First of all, before I get into Cheese Molio, wonderful username, Quentin Jones throwing 50 bones into the beer fund. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. Okay. There's a lot to going on here. Let's see. Okay, Cheese Molio. Any thoughts on the OGL drama? AI, there's absolutely nothing to say. AI just is another artisan in the community of artisans. I really couldn't care less. There are a lot of amazing artisans out there. I don't see myself as competing with them, and I don't see myself as competing with AI. I'm just me. I'm going to keep doing what I do. Just because new artisans appear on the field doesn't mean I need to take it personally or something. Um, as for the OGL drama, I do think it's a bit morbid, the fascination with it. Um, I really don't know even if anything's going to change. It is a bit disappointing, of course. I'm with everybody feeling that disappointment. And I know it's going to cause some people some hardship as they pivot what may be their significant businesses in light of it. But it is not surprising in any way. I mean, the corporate culture that we've seen working on 5e, I mean, I've been pretty outspoken about this for the last 5 or 6 years. It's, it was tanked to me 5, 6 years ago. So this just is nothing surprising about this at all. I just think I've been saying the same thing this whole time. D&D is not something they own; it's us, and that's just it's how it continues to be. Um, yeah, it's a little unfortunate to see people doing like greedy moves, but it's not surprising. So we're just gonna rock on. You know what I mean? Thanks for the question, though. Did you watch the new movie Skinamarink? No, I did not. Then we got I'm working on playing RPGs at work as team building. Sure. Using ICRPG, rock on. Suggested reading? No, I would just mine your players for what they want to do. There's so many things to read. My goodness. Any new recommendations, recent books? Just about to finish the Dragonbone Chair. And I was going to do Shadow and Claw next, but I don't know anything about it. It just came highly recommended to me. So if you want to read Shadow and Claw, it's right up there. It's that one. Have I checked out Shiver RPG? No, not yet. Hyperborea is cool. Yes. VJ, what's up? What's your favorite polyhedral? Oh man, probably the D12. I know it doesn't get used that often, but that's why I put it in the ultimate slot in ICRPG. I think it's very satisfying die with a big swing, but not as crazy as the D20. But is there really a favorite? I mean, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. Have you still been boxing? When it comes to like this, like the second week of December to the end of January, all I do is eat. I just stop working out. The gym gets so damn annoying in January. I just don't even go. This is my chance to lumberjack up, put on some mass, and eat a bunch of freaking bread and drink beer all through January. And then when February comes along, back to the gym. Jay Mansfield, the GM's oath. Oh, thanks. The player oath. Think about your turn before it's your turn. It's rule 1. Rule 2, always lift up the other players before you lift up yourself. It's rule 2. And rule 3, once it is your turn, do it quickly and expeditiously. And rule 4, don't look at your fucking phone. Damn. That was forceful. Last year, you went quite minimal with your table tools. Yes. What do you carry to the game now? Kriba, it could not be more opposite, bro. I got like shopping bags, huge shopping bags of terrain, a new terrain case I got for Christmas, or no, as a wedding gift. I'm literally riding my bike down the streets of Philadelphia with like 3 grocery bags of 3D terrain, and like bins full of miniatures. See my miniature bins? They're all jam packed, and I'm taking like this whole thing to. It's ridiculous. But it's fun. The variety is the spice of life, right? So sometimes you want to do it minimal, just a bunch of index cards, poker cards, and stuff like that. Other times you want everything to be in 3D with LED lights and light up smoke and everything. And it's just, that's how you do it. Angels of Death. No, I don't. 40K is cool enough. It always felt kind of juvenile to me, but yeah, I heard that's cool. I need to check it out. I'm psyched that Henry Cavill's getting involved in Warhammer. Whatever he does is going to be dope. He's the man. You know when ICRPG will be back in print? What do you mean back in print? It is in print. Actually, Modifius has been doing a great job keeping it in stock. You can get it on their store. You can get it at a lot of small retailers. You can get it on Amazon. Yeah. Hey there. I just got your Master Edition. Well, thanks for buying that. After 40 years of gaming, I'm impressed. Very awesome. Well, that's dope, Jason. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that a great deal. And good on you for gaming all that time. Way to keep you young. Keep the brain silly, make the body willy. I don't know what that means. I liked it when it was in my head and it came out of my mouth and I didn't like it. Did I miss the part you talked about OGL 1.1? Yeah, I guess. I mean, I didn't have a ton to say about it. I just don't have a lot to say about it. I mean, plus, what else could be said that hasn't been said? I think it's just a little strange that it's such a fascination. I mean, we all knew WotC's weird, and like, why is it such a fascination that it's like, I don't know. Whatever. I don't have a lot to say on it. That's about where I'm at. Going these days to do my annual crawdown. 12 of my best buddies are going to play some marathon shit. Have you ever been in an RPG tournament? Yes, I have. They're super fun. Sometimes the idea of it being a tournament can be a little jaunty, a little strange, but it's always fun as long as everybody's friendly about it. What should I? This is Goodfellow again. What should I do to get my players back to playing in person? I don't know. Invite them over to your house. What else? Recommendations for my next purchase with OC. I assume you mean ICRPG. There aren't a lot of purchases. That's the whole idea with ICRPG. It is not about providing you a zillion things to buy. It is about get that book and get yourself some index cards and a Sharpie and go. Do it. Yo, Valentine. How do you deal with frequent game cancellations? Get a different group. It can't be helped, and it's always for a good reason, but it's the third week in a row. Yeah, that group is not making playing a priority. And that is not to say that that's a critique on those people. They probably have shit to do. But making play a priority at a relatively similar level of enthusiasm is the key to a good cohesive group. So I know it's hard to find those peeps, but look for them peeps. Make the body willy. When the body is willy, the body is strong. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Yo, plans come to the UK. Hell yeah. Yeah, I got some stuff to do first, though. I might hit up South Africa, too, next year. That's crazy, right? But yeah, I'll start getting around. I mean, yo, taking planes is the worst right now. So I'm going to let that cool off a little bit. Like, it's really not good. So we're going to let that just chill. What's coming up on the convention scene? Yo, Rich, you know what? I don't know. Conventions are just not my thing. I tried to go to several. I did go to several. And I'm just like, why am I here? Now, I like really small ones. But even at a really small convention, like maybe 400 people, there are approximately 350 people that I don't know about or really care about, and 50 that I care about that I want to talk to and hang out with. So why am I there? Why not just gather as a friend group and do our thing? And we are going to experiment with that this April. So I'm not really a con dude, but I want to break some ground on this new concept of a retreat. It's an RPG retreat. And that's where you go with your friends and people you know to play, not to be one of 1,000 people wandering around in some overlit hotel, if that makes any sense. Yo, Justin, back at you. What's up? Who's your favorite GM to play under? Pope Panda. Well, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but it'd probably have to be my man, Dave. That was all the way back in high school. Now, the further back a memory, right, the more rosy it becomes with time. So who knows if he was actually the greatest GM or if I was just a lily-livered 17-year-old freaking out how cool Fantasy Hero was. But Dave was the man. He was also like 3 years older than all of us, and he'd been in the Marines, so he's all worldly and cool and badass. So he made a good mentor and a good GM persona. And he's also like really fun to like do super violent wrestling with, which I was really into at that age. So he'd be like, I'm going to teach you like Marine hand-to-hand combat. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Oh, wait, it's 6:30. We got to get to the game. Yeah, Raven Shadows, you know what? The struggle is real. ICRPG has been selling way faster and hotter than anticipated. So it's sold out multiple times now, which is a great problem to have. I'm definitely presenting a good look to my cruel overlords at Modiphius. Damn you, Chris. One of these days, John Spartan. You make the happy feel good, or what is it? Make happy feelings, joy feelings. That's it. Make joy feelings, John Spartan. How often do you use random tables and stick with results? All the damn time. Do you use it as more of an idea generator beforehand, during the game? During the game. All the time. Yo, right on, Justina. Hey, by the way, thanks for all the bumps on Twitter. You monster. You're always bumping me, you beast. What was that? What happens if you get your... Oh, if you keep your brain silly, it makes the body willy. I like that a lot. Now that I've given it time to cook, to pickle, if you will. I like it. Bunder JDR. What makes a good alternative history setting for an RPG? Alternative history. Ooh. Ugh. I'm not a big alternative history guy. I'm like in the RPG game to get away from history. So I guess some medieval shit. Go watch that new Ottoman show on National Geographic. Fuck, that was dope. That was way better than it should have been, and was ripe to be like an RPG setting. It's like Transylvania, but historic accurate. You got your Vlad, you got your Mehmet. You got I don't know, Kermit the Frog just popped in my head and I couldn't get him out, so I'm just going to stop that thread. I'm going to a D&D in a mansion in Maryland. Rock on. Tighter. Do you own a physical copy of the Usagi Yojimbo RPG book? No, I don't. But yeah, I'm a big Usagi Yojimbo fan, for real, though. The only thing I really have from that era is the old Eastman and Laird How to Draw TMNT comics. And here comes Damien coming in hot with 10 bones. Oh, great. Hey, thanks a lot, Damien. That's a great story. Appreciate it. Yeah, right on. And that's going to buy me a beer. And in modern times, $10 gets you one beer. One stinking beer. And it's going to be delicious. What bicycle? Robert Nemeth asking me the question I really want to be asked. I ride a modified State Rigby, my friend. It's got custom chain, custom pedals, custom handlebars, custom grips, a seat from a Citizen 20-inch bike, and about 98 stickers, and a flashlight that's duct taped to the crossbar, like you have to if you're a real poison. Oh, Jade, thanks a lot. All you guys and gals, both or neither, whatever you are, have been blowing up ICRPG so much. I appreciate it like crazy. It's kind of nuts. Warmaker Stormblood is kind of chilling. You can actually see all the latest iterations of Warmaker are right there on my shelf. Had a blast with it, but to be brutally honest, Crown and Skull is so cool. It's just sort of my main focus with Easy D6, and then working with Greg Gillespie, and then working with Outer Heaven on the Ascend art book for the video game that I art directed years ago. Crazy stuff. Yo, Impractical Nurse coming in with 5 bones. Any fantasy novels coming? No, but I am coming out with a horror anthology of short stories that is like kind of freaking me out a little bit. So I'm kind of working on it slowly, but that'll be my next fiction authoring. Is I'm working on horror, and I basically give myself about one night a week. So I guess I lied about time management. I do manage my time. One night a week, I work on this horror anthology. It's called Dead Time, and I don't know when that's going to be done, though. I'm sorry, I can't give you an estimate. There will be no wine before it's wine time. You keep the mind silly, make the body willy. Do you want a physical copy of what? Oh, Usagi Yojimbo? Yeah, man. Email me about that stuff. We'll get her done offline here and everything. What makes Crown and Skull so cool? Terrence, see, it is the culmination of everything I've learned, not just in the past 7 years, but since 1985. And when this starts to come out and the facts about it come out, you will see why I cite that year. But it is definitely not a backward-looking book. It's also a book that I've always wanted to create as far as the physical object in a style that I think is going to turn some heads, a style I have never seen done. And so I want to do it. I can't say too much. I got to be really disciplined about it, because the minute I say a little too much, then I have to do that. at least in my head. So I got to be careful. Daniel Strand says, can I make a request? Please don't make an OGL related video. I'm not. I had no intention of doing it. I won't do it. There's just nothing to talk about. Are you the illustrator for One Page Rules? Granberg, I sure am. I did a shit ton of art for OPR. A shit ton. So if you see all my crazy like Sharpie art appearing in those supplements and everything, yes, that is me. Do your sweet frog tattoos have a name? I just call them Odachi and Naginata, which are just their weapons. But yeah, I'm a big frog warrior guy. Big frog warrior guy. Oh man, Lord Kame, come on. Come on. Yeah, boy, One Page Rules really getting some love in the public eye lately for sure. And that is overdue because he really like democratized Warhammer in the dopest way. How did your canvas art show go? Oh my God, Alistair, thanks for the question. Raging, rampaging success. I hung 8 pieces of art at the bar here in Philly. I've sold 2 of the actual framed physical pieces, but what I did is I put QR codes next to all of the pieces, and you can buy the prints just with your phone while you're in the bar. Now, if you hang on here just a second, I can send you guys the link for the poster shop. And this will only be up for a little while, and then I'm going to take it off the site. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, I'm going to take this down probably in the middle of February. So this is some limited time stuff here. But these are the pieces that I did for the Sublight Sonic Art Show. I got to DJ the opening. It was super fun. So I've sold a lot of prints, and it's just very, very fortunate to have a lot of people interested in that neon art. Yeah, thanks for asking, by the way, Alistair. It was really fun. Grung or Bullywugs? Neither. I'm a big Edward guy. I'm a big Edward guy and a Lord Kame guy. How did you learn art? Did you go to school or just a hobby? Well, it's definitely not a hobby. I was a professional concept artist for almost 25 years. As far as learning, I was mostly self-taught. I did some sort of advanced placement type classes when I was in the end of grade school, but mostly just was self-taught. I took a few college courses, but found them frustrating. I just wanted to just draw and illustrate on my own pace, kind of go crazy. I didn't really want to do it anyone else's way. It is a long, slow path, that is for sure. Well, for me anyway. For some people, they're just crazy gifted with it, but for me, yeah, it's been a long, slow journey. This is like question banana. This is question-a-palooza. This is nuts. Lawson Lang, is the Frog Warrior Love a direct link to Chrono Trigger, or is that your favorite? Chrono Trigger is my favorite video game of all time, next to Elden Ring. Chrono Trigger, I actually did a whole podcast about it. If you look on my podcast on Spotify called RPG Mainframe, there is an episode called Creative Roots, and it's all about Chrono Trigger. And it's basically me seeing Chrono Trigger mirrored in a lot of things that I've created over the years. I am a massive Chrono Trigger fan, and not just because of what Chrono Trigger is, but what it is in my mind. I don't think it just exists as the simple little sprite game that it is, which is also a great game, but it's something up here, like it's in my imagination as something even cooler. And yeah, I'd say my top 3 are Chrono Trigger, Elden Ring, and Breath of the Wild, with Proteus and Carrion bringing out the top 5. Here we got Matt Williams. Where did the name Crown and Skull come from? Man, you guys are extremely curious about this stuff. Well, let me put it this way. At a sort of a midpoint of a character's life in this game, they are approached and they are sort of forced to choose between the path of the crown and the path of the skull. And it is unavoidable. And those who do not choose are basically hunted down by both sides. So it's this sort of irrevocable and unavoidable choice in the lifetime of a character. But I'm not going to say too much more. Yeah, what's up, Goblin? How you doing? Here comes Dave Muskie coming in hot. You've recommended reading Lovecraft in the past. thoughts on Poe's work. Edgar Allan Poe is the inventor of science fiction. I would argue he's the inventor of horror almost. Well, you've got, yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say in its more modern sensibility, Poe, it's very easy to underestimate how crazy and innovative he must have been in his time to see almost like a pulpy journey, and how strange it must have been, and how much he must have been looked down upon, because he didn't just make that same journey that so many countless other authors made into basically erudition, right? I want to just display my command of language as well as draw you into an intellectually satisfying narrative of the hero's journey. Instead, he was a concept author. Like in Fall of the House of Usher, the concept is the scary moment that the daughter appears, right? It is sort of this being buried alive, shiver down your spine concept. The story itself is just a delivery of that concept. And to me, that is what horror ultimately became. And in many cases, science fiction as well. You have a core MacGuffin, an idea that is in itself, when you experience it with the proper preparation, super exciting, rather than something like, Wuthering Heights or Moby Dick, which is not really just a sort of concept piece. It's this sort of saga, right? And Poe does not write the saga at all. He writes these concept deliveries that I think are a lot like, if you look at a movie like X, to bring it right up to the common time, or the X Pearl combo. If you haven't seen those films, I mean, brace yourself. They're not for everybody, but absolutely brilliant horror films, and a brilliant way to do a sequel, and very Edgar Allan Poe like. They are deliveries of a single moment in cases that is just built up to delivered and you're done. And I think that just his innovation cannot be overstated. So get yourself the collection of everything he's ever written and drink it up. He also is a poet, and the poetry of his work comes through at times, but he squelches it and puts it aside, and he's no longer a poet. He's just this scare writer. It's just brilliant. And then he caps it off with a mysterious drunken death for the ultimate critical hit. So the man is dope. Fast forward all the way to like a month ago, 3 weeks ago, and you've got The Pale Blue Eye, the new film that's out, and he's in it. And the portrayal of Poe in that film, so impeccable. And as a true Poe fan, oh my God, it's so fun. So a lot of people would say Lovecraft is a lot more obsequious than Poe. Kind of agree with that. A lot of Lovecraft's work are more laborious to read and don't have this sort of sense of whimsy that Poe has. But Lovecraft was a more tormented person. I think Poe was more of a drinker and more of a reveler in his existence as a ghoulish genius. Whereas Lovecraft was kind of this like tormented, like, oh, I'm scared of all this weird stuff, I think I've seen all the endings, Jade. I just like the one where Edward takes it all the way to the top. I like the all good ending. Best workout for solo. What do you mean? Oh, you know what? I'm not a believer in what you do when it comes to working out. I'm just a believer in doing. So just show up 3 to 4 a week and do your best. You don't have to do bro splits. You don't have to do powerlifting. You don't have to do calisthenics. Just show up, put in your 45 minutes or an hour of busting your ass in whatever way you can, and call it good. You'll feel better. As far as getting like the best results and all that stuff, I don't know anything about that. Yeah, I don't know if I hate that the OGL is such a big topic. I just think it's just like, okay, whatever. I don't know. I'm just busy with other stuff. Do you have any plans to write an Easy D6 supplement? Elias, yes, book 2 is over half done right now. The Book of Quests, it will be coming out soon, and it is awesome. And then we're doing a third book. Yeah. Shadowmane, yeah. Amontillado is great too. I'm scanning down here. Okay, here we go, Eduardo. Easy D6, new book, almost done. Please say yes. Yeah, it's halfway. And the third one. Ah, yes. The third Easy D6 book is going to flip the whole thing on its head. And I don't know how I talked Scotty into this, but basically, so the first book is the core rules. The second book is really only for the GM to run adventures. And the third book is only for the player. So the third book is going to be advanced equipment as well as like a hero path type system, which I think people will smell some Pathfinder on it, meaning there's going to be some nice, deep, crunchy character progression, which is in direct conflict with the core book of EZD6, which really doesn't do a lot of complex progression. But I think it's going to be a super fun way to flip this system on its head and open it up to a lot bigger player base that can tune how crunchy or not crunchy they want their game to be. Oh yeah, Impractical Nurse, totally agree. Do you think it would what's your opinion on GURPS? GURPS was one of the first games I ever played. Um I don't know anything about streaming shows. I don't know anything about that at all. No, I don't think it would be particularly good because it's a bit obscure and it's a bit listy, like the flaws, disadvantages, and advantages, and the structural points on that. Yeah, I think a crunched a sort of a simplified version of it, maybe, but GURPS is from another time, and we've learned a ton since then. Um, but it's also extremely usable in many ways. So I'd say rock on. If it's intuitive for you, it's going to work. Cole 1982, I don't really write a post-apoc. I like Last of Us like everybody else does, but post-apoc doesn't really give me my escape. It's like a messy, scary, frenetic, anxiety-filled setting. And it doesn't really make me feel like it's an escape from the modern world. It kind of makes me sad, honestly. So I like thinking about wide open, green, mysterious worlds, not ruined modern worlds. They kind of, I mean, that's what's cool about them, right? But it's not really something that inspires me as a creator. A link to the podcast. Well, I guess I can do the Googling for you. I'm a funny man. Well, here it is on Podbean. Nobody wants Podbean. You want Spotify. Actually, fuck it. Here's the Podbean link. What am I reading? Well, Viking Death Squad is a bit of an exception. It's so far into the future. There's not even like ruined buildings left. I mean, there's nothing. It's a slag world. Here's Mono. Are you able to break down your radio silence on the Encounter Throwdown competition? I didn't do any of that. That's all Ultimate Effort channel. Thanks. My Google give me hell sometimes. Oh, you got to get that Google in line, man. That's like a daily thing. Dark Sun isn't post apoc because it's still in its fantasy area. Its fantasy era hasn't ended. Post apoc to me is a modern world that's destroyed, not a fantasy world that's still going. But I don't know. Are there any solo RPGs? I don't know anything about playing solo. Colossal looks really neat. The art style is just kind of whimsical, but I don't know anything about it. It's never made a ton of sense to me. I like Pencils and Powers, but yeah, if I'm going to play solo, I'll just play like Elden Ring, sit on my couch, be lazy. Greg Cthulhu, you're going to give a bit of insight into Crown and Skull? Oh my gosh. No, I'm not. It's too soon. I'm going to let some of the editing process do its thing, and I'm going to finish the writing process before I start saying anything. Once I start saying things, the bones will begin to form, and it's a little too soon for that. So you got to hold. And this is where I got to thank. I do it every stream. I hope I remember to. I got to thank my patrons. The most of all, the shield wall of Patreon is what gives me the capability to put the time into these projects to make them what I want them to be, because it ain't easy. And it lets me not announce it too soon and put the work in. So thank you, Shield Wall. Y'all cool. Well, yeah, Fitzluric, that's kind of like Shannara, right? Well, it has been. I need lunch, y'all. I walked my stinking dog so far today. Why do we walk so far? That now I'm hungry. Yo, I'm working on some of the coolest stuff, you guys. You got to keep an eye out. I'm also going to be opening up a cartography shop on my site pretty soon with these great wall posters. I've been loving making these things. The paper quality is so dope. So that's why I put out Doom Vault, just because it makes such a fun. And then also, like, oh, these are so great. They're made out of this ultra beefy paper. And I just fold them up like this. I unfold them. I put them on my table. We play right on this heavy duty paper. And it is absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to be doing more of those in the coming days. Just making huge 3 foot by 2 foot maps is a blast. You guys know I love doing that stuff. So look forward to doing more of that in the future. Dark Sun is dope. Sure. Yeah. Dice. When? I don't know what that means exactly. But if you need the best dice that there are, you're going to ask my man Mono Makes. That's his name on Etsy. That's his name on Instagram. He is the best artisan dice maker that I know of. You got to wait sometimes because he is in demand and he does everything by hand. So you do not get mass-produced stuff. These are tasty. I have no interest in a dice with a Runehammer logo. I'm really annoyed by dice with logos on them. I need my numbers. I do not want to sit there and wonder if it's a 1 or a 6 or whatever. Also, the dice game just isn't for me. I think Mono Makes really showed me something, which is that handmade dice are the only way to go. And when you make dice by hand, there's really not, it's really tough to make a good business out of it. It takes so much attention to detail and time. You can't really put out the world's best dice en masse. They have to be made one by hand. And so I don't really see a way to get into the dice business in a way that I think would be at the quality level that I would want, which is the Mono Makes quality level. I'd like your opinion on the competition held in the ICR. You mean the Ultimate Encounter thing? I kind of skimmed through the encounters. They look really neat, but it's cool to see everybody throw down with like their VTT encounters. But I didn't really look at it. I was going to wait for. Was a winner chosen? I don't know. Yeah, and you can always make your own small run Runehammer logo dice. And if that's something that like Mono wanted to do, that would be super cool. It's just not something I'm chasing. And yeah, I am not exaggerating. And he knows that I blow him up left and right. He is the dice artisan of the earth. I don't think it's the kind of thing that you're going to retire on because of the amount of effort it takes, the hand craftsmanship. But there's simply none better. I stand by those words. Spinning dark. I don't know nothing about that. Remz, he's right here in the chat. Banbandu JDR. I love that name. I am going to get the hell out of here, you guys. That was great. We had almost a couple hundred people. Steven sounding off. Is ICRPG Collector's Edition being reprinted? Yeah, it's in stock right now. Yeah, and if you do a pre-order and they screw you over, don't wait around. Just cancel your pre-order and go on Amazon and get a copy, yo. What's for lunch? Oh, my God, dude. I got this cannelli bean soup with kale in it. Oh, and andouille sausage and some home-baked bread. Yeah, seriously. Oh, my God. I'm so excited. Hey, Smurf, thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks, everybody, for tuning in. It's great to be back on the internet world of the living and just to shout for a second about all this stuff. I got a ton more work yet to do today, and I got to grind some of these friggin' Lendell soldiers in Elden Ring. If you guys haven't checked that game out, definitely give it a try. As an RPG lover, it is vastly, tremendously inspiring for tabletop gaming, not just as a video game, but as a work of creative fantasy art. Absolutely amazing, ever unfolding onion of cool details. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Stay tuned for however you keep up with me. And there's always going to be new exciting things. Also, a quick shout out. Go check out Shadow Dark by Arcane Library. She was coming really close to almost being done with her book. All these shenanigans happen and she's retuning it to just make it better. and doing it quietly and skillfully with chops. And I like that kind of shit. That's my style. So go support Arcane Library. Go do that. And I am not maidenless. No, I'm a married man. I mean, you got to be married to wear your Vermont flannel and your overalls on a Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Actually, that's completely not true. I made that up. I'll tell you what is true. If you keep the mind silly, you keep the body willy. So until next time, you guys, keep it real, don't steal, and you'll always get a deal. You know what I'm saying? Live by those words. If you're out there in the world right now having a hard time, and if like bad forces are coming your way, then may they relent. And everybody, look out for the person next to you, will you? Like in the next week, sometimes just do something nice for somebody. Something big, something small. We all do that. This whole planet's going to be a better place to live. All right. Until next time, see y'all on that old internet. All right. I'm out. I'm creating rap music because I never dug disco. Bam, bam, bam.